Mr. Venezia, members of the school committee, Dr. Troughton, faculty, staff, guests, parents, relatives, friends, and most of all, members of the class of 2003. Welcome to the graduation exercises, North Reading High School. To the class of 2003, local historians have indicated that you are the smallest graduating class since 1962. For all you mathematicians, that is 41 years. But it's not the size of the numbers that matters, but the size of your hearts, integrity, and perseverance. In fact, you represent the saying that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Individually, you all have succeeded in your own ways and paths to meet the graduation standards of North Reading High School. Collectively, though, you have been the pioneers of mass ed reform. You, the class of 2003, are the first class designated to pass the MCAS in order to graduate. You have accomplished that task. Additionally, collectively, you are the first class in North Reading High School history to send 96% of you to some form of post-secondary training and education. This is quite an accomplishment for you, your parents, and your teachers. As you leave this phase of your life, 100% of you will face the challenges and obstacles that society presents. Continue to be pioneers, each and every one of you. Society will be a better place. I would like to leave you with the following quote by Helen Keller. Be yourself, try your best, and never be afraid to dream. Dr. Troughton will now deliver the challenge to the graduates.
As Superintendent of Schools, it is indeed a pleasure to welcome parents, families, staff members, and friends to the 46th graduation exercises at North Reading High School for the class of 2003. And it is an honor and a privilege to present the charge to the graduates. This is a special time of celebration and happiness as we mark a major milestone in the lives of each of our graduates. We're gathered here this evening to wish you well, to recognize your accomplishments, to offer some advice for the future, and to confer on you a diploma in recognition of your fulfillment of the requirements of graduation from North Reading High School. On behalf of the staff and of the North Reading School Committee, I extend to each of you, the members of the class of 2003, my personal congratulations and best wishes. The class of 2003 represents an important benchmark for future classes. You are the first class to graduate under the MCAS test requirements established by the Board of Education in Massachusetts. With 100% attainment of this standard, you have set the bar high for succeeding classes. We do know, however, that a single test is not the sole measure of success in learning. As individual students and as a class, you have distinguished yourselves in academics, in athletics, the arts, and in numerous co-curricular activities. We are all indeed very proud of your accomplishments. You are a class with many talents, and we are confident that you will go far. As a school district, our mission is to challenge and encourage you to be thinking, creative, and responsible individuals who are committed to excellence, service, and lifelong learning. Your accomplishments as a class and as individual students are evidence that we have achieved our educational mission for you as you leave North Reading High School. As superintendent, I hope that you will join me in thanking all of your teachers, your advisors, and coaches for their efforts to accomplish this educational mission on your behalf. The cornerstone of your future success is attributed directly to their dedication and commitment. I would also like to give special recognition and thanks to 4 faculty members, Mrs. Begley, Ms. Kornichek, Mr. Perez, and Mrs. Perez, who will retire at the conclusion of this school year. Through their combined total of 83 years of service to teaching at North Reading High School, these dedicated staff members have helped to generate generations of students to explore physics, to learn French and Spanish, to understand the importance of wellness, and to design a path for your future success. Each is a true professional and dedicated teacher, and we thank all of them and each of them for their many years of service. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Papagiotis for her 5 years of service as principal here at North Reading High School, and to wish her well as she embarks on her new role as principal of Salem High School. During Dr. Papagiotis' tenure, she has developed our high school as one recognized throughout Massachusetts and New England for its bold initiatives and high standards for teaching and learning, and for the creation of a student-centered school where all students can succeed. Well, at North Reading High School, it is the custom and tradition for the superintendent to present a charge to the graduates. Simply stated, this charge imparts, hopefully, a few words of advice and encouragement before you are launched on your new paths. And as I contemplate the theme for the charge, I try to reflect on the events of significance that marked your senior year. From the conflict in Iraq to the Columbia disaster, we draw lessons of freedom and bravery and patriotism. With the passing of Fred Rogers from the children's show Mr. Rogers, we recall the need to treat each person with kindness, understanding, and love, and to find the goodness and special talents in each individual. Whether in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood of make-believe or in the war-torn neighborhoods of Iraq, each of us, each of you, is challenged with the responsibility to serve the common good and to build a sense of better community. The words of John Fitzgerald Kennedy in his inaugural address, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country," ring as true today as they did when they challenged a nation in 1961. Our world continues to struggle with poverty and neglect. Millions lack the necessities of shelter, health care, and education, as well as fundamental freedoms that all of us take for granted. The opportunities to be a good neighbor are limitless. Consider a few examples. The Peace Corps, initiated in 1961 by JFK, continues today to draw thousands of individuals in a quest to bring hope, education, and peace to countries throughout the world. Since its inception, over 168,000 Americans have utilized their talents in education, in health, agriculture, science, and engineering to bridge cultural and geographical divisions and build neighborhoods of peace in over 130 countries throughout the world. Habitat for Humanity, founded in 1976 by Mildred Linder Fuller, addresses the issues of poverty and the fundamental need for shelter. Through Habitat for Humanity, thousands of volunteers have built and rehabilitated more than 150,000 homes for families in need throughout the U.S. and the world. Volunteers for Habitat for Humanity address the issues of poverty and self-respect and help to build neighborhoods and communities one house at a time. finally, Teach for America, created by Princeton senior Wendy Cobb in 1989, recruits and trains college graduates to teach in rural and urban centers. And through its vision to provide all children with a quality education, volunteers for Teach for America help to bridge educational inequalities and build beacons of hope in some of the nation's poorest neighborhoods. These three examples illustrate the power of ideas and the commitment to serve the common good. The late Fred Rogers, host of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, said it more aptly. We live in a world in which we need to share responsibility. It's easy to say, it's not my child, it's not my community, it's not my world, not my problem. Then there are those who see the need and respond, and I consider these people to be my heroes. The list of opportunities is limitless, and they help to define the human spirit of service, community, and being a good neighbor. As a class and as individuals, you have developed a strong commitment to serve as a good neighbor through various activities of the Interact Club, the National Honor Society, the Student Council, and all of our school and community groups. The class of 2003 has made impressive contributions and volunteered hundreds of hours to many organizations and causes. You've worked in food pantries, built houses for Habitat for Humanity, and raised donations to support various charitable and research foundations. You collected desperately needed supplies and delivered them to a hospital and into a school in Nicaragua. You organized and participated in blood drives through the American Red Cross and collected and distributed toys during the holiday season. And most recently, you supported our troops in Iraq. Your commitment to service and the Good Neighbor mission is truly outstanding. My charge to you, the members of the class of 2003, is to continue to find ways to be a good neighbor and to build a sense of community and understanding wherever you go. Continue to use your talents and your education to its fullest potential. I'm confident that you're off to a fine start in that regard. Best wishes to each of you, and God bless.
Good evening, members of the school committee, Dr. Troten, Dr. Papagiotis, Mr. Pesci, faculty and staff, family and friends, and members of the class of 2003. One thing that we all have in common as we sit here today is that we all have, or once had, big dreams for ourselves, big plans that we hope to one day transform into reality. Unfortunately, as people grow older, they tend to let go of their dreams in favor of pursuing a more sensible route, one that will lead them to a comfortable life, if nothing else. And can you really blame them? Dreams are called just that because they are generally thought to be unattainable, ideas that will never become reality. The fact is, however, that most dreams can be attained in some way, shape, or form. It's just a matter of how much you're willing to give in order to reach your goals. My favorite book is Rocket Boys, the autobiographical story of a man named Homer Hickam Jr., whom I see as a true inspiration to all those who seek to attain a seemingly impossible dream. Homer was just 14 years old when he watched the Russian satellite Sputnik fly over his small hometown of Colwood, West Virginia in October of 1957. At that moment, he decided that one day, he too was going to go into space. Eager to join the space race, Homer and his friends immediately began to build simple rockets that did nothing but blow up. Following the advice of space program pioneer Wernher von Braun, who wrote to Homer, "If you work hard enough, you will do anything you want." The Rocket Boys continued to build and refine their rockets over the next few years, and by 1960, they had won first prize at the National Science Fair with a rocket that flew 30,000 feet into the air, roughly 6 miles. Though he never went into space, at the age of 38, Homer fulfilled his dream of working with the space program when he was hired by NASA as an engineer, where he worked until the late 90s, training astronauts and guiding them through their experiments in space. The story of Homer and his dream has many lessons, a few of which are particularly prominent. First, most dreams seem unattainable. Few actually are, and none are easy to reach. Once you identify your goal, start working toward it in some small way, because even if what you are doing seems insignificant, it isn't as long as it serves a purpose. Second, perseverance is the key to reaching your goal. There will always be obstacles and setbacks, probably major ones, that will get in the way of what you seek to achieve. If you don't climb over the mountains that block your path, you'll never reach your destination. Third, you have to be willing to take chances. Put yourself out there and see what happens. Just because no one has ever done a certain thing doesn't mean it can't be done. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Everyone has something to offer. If you can, find a role model, and it doesn't have to be someone famous. In fact, you probably already know the person that is most worthy of your admiration. Be focused on your goals, not obsessed with them. Remember that family, friends, and service come before everything else. Also, be sure to make time for hobbies. If you are particularly talented at something, explore that talent to the best of your ability, but realize that just because you are good at something does not mean that you are destined to do that one thing for the rest of your life. Finally, most dreams take years to obtain. Therefore, allow them to evolve with you, because you probably won't have the same goal at 25 that you did at 18, or at 55 that you had at 25. If you put in the work and the effort, you will reach your goals. And although they may not be the exact ones you started with, in the end, you will have achieved your aspirations. The story of Homer and the Rocket Boys proves that people can and do achieve their dreams. The majority of us have been blessed with supportive family, friends, and teachers, as well as a good education. It's up to you how you want to utilize these resources. Just know that if you constantly aim for the stars, you will eventually reach them. Thank you.
Alright, well I was going to take it off and walk around, but I'm having some technical difficulties, so never mind. Good evening. In my quest to write the best speech possible, I browsed through a catalog of quotations from some of the greatest thinkers of all time. As I scanned the witty sayings and proverbs, I came across one from Ralph Waldo Emerson that particularly caught my attention. Emerson said, "I hate quotations. Tell me what you know." That quote inspired me to reflect if there were any bits of wisdom or life lessons that I've learned in the past 18 years that I could share with you tonight. With that in mind, I'd like to discuss a topic that consists of a 4-letter word that begins with the letter F, fear. I'd like to share with you now an instance in which I dealt with fear. Last year, when I learned that the Maskers Club was going to perform No No Nanette as their spring musical, I immediately set to work researching the plot and characters. I found the character Flora to be particularly intriguing. She seemed so boisterous and histrionic and flamboyant. I thought she would be so fun to portray. But there was just one hitch in this plan. I had never spoken on stage before. So, all this is spewing in the back of my head while one day I was watching Singing in the Rain. Jean Hagen comes on screen and she portrays the character Lena Lamont. And Hagen used this voice that was really high-pitched and squeaky and whiny, and it was so annoying, yet so effective. So I thought to myself,
all right, that's perfect. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. If I can do that voice, it would be awesome. So I practiced the voice at home, and I thought it sounded comical to my ears, and I certainly thought it would bring Flora to life. So the dates of the audition arrived, and all of a sudden it hit me. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to do this voice in front of a lot of people. What am I going to do? I mean, what if my voice wasn't funny? Or what if people snickered at my feeble impersonation? Or worse yet, what if they just sat silently still and felt really embarrassed for me? So I get called up to read, and you know, I've got the sweaty palms, the heart palpitations, the shallow breathing, kind of like how I'm feeling right now. And my friend, who happened to be reading with me, gave his line. And as I went to deliver mine, it was strange. This wave of calm just came over me. I realized, you know, I'm just gonna have to trust myself. Maybe it would go over well, or maybe it would not. But the point is that I took that risk. And incidentally, I did end up getting that part. And as I look back now, I had such a fun time portraying Flora that I hate to think what might have happened if I didn't take that risk and let my fear hold me back or convince me to play it safe. Now, this situation in which you decide whether or not to take a risk certainly isn't unique to my own experience. I'm sure there have been times in all of our lives where fear has tried to keep us from doing something. For example, it could be trying out for a sports team, or switching careers, or even just voicing your opinion in public. This is especially relevant to each one of us right now, because after we receive our diplomas, we are all going to venture forth onto new roads, confronting many facets of the unknown. Sometimes, fear can be our worst enemy. It can be fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of rejection. But by taking that risk and charting the unknown, not only do we learn more about others, we learn more about ourselves. Taking that risk causes change, and that change can serve as a catalyst for growth and maturity. Ultimately, it's important that we take that risk, because if we don't, we'll have to live with the thought of what might have been. I'd like to take a moment now to thank my teachers, my family, and my friends for all their love and support and encouraging me to reach my potential and to blossom. Now, although Emerson advises us to eschew quotations, I would like to share one last saying with the class of 2003. As a wise mind once said, and I'm talking about Yoda here, do or do not. There is no try. Thank you very much, and may the force be with you.
Sometimes in life, we reach a point when just words are inadequate to express emotion. The range of human feeling transcends the meaning of the written word. Verbal language is not always strong enough to capture the power of the things we feel. When this happens, we turn to the arts to express the inexpressible. Music, dance, theater, film, art. These are the languages that we must employ to convey the whisperings of our hearts. Music has always been an important part of my life, It's woven into my very being. Both my grandmothers are very musical. From an early age, they instilled in me a love for music and song. Songs provide a heightened emotion because they combine the beauty of well-crafted lyrics with the precise mathematical arrangement of notes and rhythms. Where the written word does not suffice, music exists to help us communicate. When we cannot say something because our minds do not know how, we turn to music because our hearts know how to speak through song. Only in music can two opposing forces merge to produce unity. All of life is made up of songs. As we grow, we learn to listen for them and to hear what they are saying to us. We learn to hear our songs and add our voices to their glorious music. As we travel through life, we add our melodies and our harmonies, and the union only makes it the more beautiful. Music is the hardest discipline to learn and to master. I have learned through music, however, that hard is not synonymous with impossible. In fact, those two are a world apart. Music has taught me that the difference between these two is that while very many things are hard, nothing is impossible. Dance is the greatest unspoken language. It cannot be told in words. The ability to move an audience, to evoke a reaction with a simple gesture or formation is incredible. Shirley MacLaine once said, "Then come the lights shining on you from above. You are a performer. You forget all you learned, the process of technique, the fear, the pain. You even forget who you are. You become one with the music, the lights, indeed, one with the dance." Dance is being able to take every emotion within one's heart, every ache, sorrow, and joy, and pour it into a movement that may bring joy to or ease the sorrows of another. Dancing is ultimate freedom. No matter what I am feeling or thinking, I can immerse myself so thoroughly in the motion that these sentiments become secondary. It is great power that allows me to be at once free by myself and unified with others. Being able to dance is a gift, and the freedom it brings, an even greater gift. Dance has taught me to continue, even when the only strength that remains in me is the strength and power of my own will. I have learned that when I reached what I thought was my absolute limit, it was only the beginning of what I had to give. "All the world is a stage, and all the men and women merely players," said William Shakespeare. Sometimes we find ourselves playing parts in life, parts that sometimes we do not wish to play. If we are smart, we learn when we must play these parts, and when we must stand up and refuse to be something we're not. This is not my arena. I would much rather be up there on a stage telling you how I feel through singing, acting, and dancing. For 4 years, Maskers has been my lifeline, my salvation, the anchor that kept me grounded when storms were raging. Being a part of that taught me that excellence is not a fixed mark, but rather an ever-shifting one. I have learned never to settle, to strive a little harder each day towards that ultimate goal. There will always be disappointments and setbacks along the road, and sometimes we find detours in our paths. But when the destination is the same, the route that we took becomes less important. We all must make decisions in life, and sometimes we make the wrong ones, but we cannot live by constantly regretting. Maskers has taught me that the purpose of life is simply to live, without repenting our pasts or worrying about our futures. And so, I would like to thank my teachers, my friends, my family, the people who have given me these gifts, who have allowed me to learn so much, and who have encouraged me to pursue my dreams. I leave you with the words of ABBA. Thank you for the music, the songs I'm singing. Thanks for all the joy they're bringing. Who can live without it, I ask in all honesty, what would life be? Without a song or a dance, what are we? So I say, thank you for the music, for giving it to me.
I am pleased to announce the scholarships and awards for the class of 2003. Would all recipients please remain standing when called, and with the audience, please hold your applause until all recipients have been acknowledged. Thank you. James R. and Barbara E. Elwood Memorial Scholarship, Daniel Carter. Nedio E. Barrasso and Mary Barrasso Memorial Scholarships, Matthew Reed, Nicole Main. Peter Bruno Memorial Scholarships, Georgette Pierce, Timothy O'Connell. Stephen L. Burt Memorial Scholarship, Andrea Keefe. Ellsworth Croswell Memorial Scholarship, Andrew Richardson. Joseph Gavin Keep the Faith Scholarship, Patrick Blum. Stephen Gregory Scholarship, Gregory Cicchini. James Gregory Hannon Scholarship, Danielle Witcher. Edith F. Holt Memorial Scholarship, Peter Allen. E. Ethel Little Scholarships, Peter Calafatis, Andrea Keefe. Hunt Memorial Scholarship, Christopher Hayter. Honorable Francis P. Cullen Scholarship, Laura Zabely. Knights of Columbus, Colleen Brown. Frank W. Jr. and Glenn A. Kenrick Memorial, Shane Slocum. Nicholas J. Morano Memorial Scholarship, Nicole Main. Nicholas Martino Memorial Scholarships, Christopher Hayter, Hannah Potter. Walter Miller Scholarship, Matthew Reed. Michael J. Mitt Memorial Scholarship, Brian Lewis. Moynihan Lumber Scholarship, Edward Pawlowski. North Reading Community YMCA Scholarship, Jennifer Silvestro. North Reading Education Association Scholarship, Michelle Corliss. North Reading Golden Age Scholarship, Jennifer O'Leary. North Reading League of Women Voters Scholarship, Alicia Imparata. North Reading Music Booster Scholarships, Michael Barnard, Alex Papanicholas, Matthew Reed, Emily Blake. North Reading Rotary Club Scholarship, Melissa Jenkins. North Reading Youth Basketball Scholarships, Matthew Reed, Hannah Potter. North Reading Youth Soccer Scholarship, Edward Pawlowski. North Reading Youth Softball Scholarship, Karen McAuliffe. Edward Sapienza Scholarship, Michael Sherwood. Bonnie Symes Memorial Scholarship, Jeanette Gentili. James Skinner Memorial Scholarship, Matthew Reed. Richard K. Smith Memorial Scholarship, Karen Furlong. Catherine Welsh Memorial Scholarship, Emily Blake. Robert Marchand Memorial Scholarship, Brian Letsizer. I have more. National Choral Award, Megan Brown. Elk Scholarship, Karen McAuliffe. Best Buy Scholarship, Edward Pawlowski. CW Post Recognition Award, Vanessa Rogers. Suffolk University Trustee Scholarship, Krista Roy. Cultural Council Scholarship and a National Merit Scholarship, Nicole Main. Lester Levy Memorial Scholarship, Matthew Reed, Danielle Witcher, and the Haystack Award, Melissa Jenkins. The following members of the class of 2003 have been selected as Dollars for Scholars recipients. Again, would you all the recipients please remain standing when called, and with the audience please hold your applause until all recipients have been acknowledged. Citizen Scholarship Foundation, class of 2003, Emily Blake, Caitlin Callahan, Daniel Carter, Karen Furlong, Jeanette Gentili, Michael Harris, Melissa Jenkins, Brian Letsizer, Nicole Main, Karen McAuliffe, Catherine McCarthy, Amanda Mullen, John Murphy, Alex Papanicholas, Shivani Patel, Edward Pawlowski, Mark Pelletier, Matthew Reed, Jennifer Segroy, Michael Sherwood, Jennifer Silvestro, James Spinos, Nathan Spry, William Welsh, Danielle Witcher, and Laura Zabely. Congratulations.
And we will now confirm the diplomas on the graduates of 2003, conferred by Mr. Venezia, assisted by Dr. Trobe. Nicole Marie Main. Laura Elise Zabely. Emily Elizabeth Blake. Karen Marie McCullough. Alicia Marie Imperato. Jennifer Ann Silvestro. Catherine Helen McCarthy. Brian Patrick Lewis. Joy Louise Aldridge. Peter W. Allen. Christiana Marie Angelini. Amy Lee Bachman. Michael E. Barnard. Carmen Anthony Bonfiglio. Kurt Richard Braun Jr. Colleen Therese Brown. Megan Marie Brown. Sean Edward Burke. Caitlin Callanan. Jessica Ann Campbell. Samantha Marie Carney. Daniel Jonathan Carter. Laura Kathleen Cazaza. Philip Michael Cataldo. Gregory B. Cicchini. Paulo J. Sequeira. Matthew John Chase. Justin J. Ciccarella. Christopher Joseph Cody. Michelle Corliss. Jamie Marie Curry. Elizabeth Marie D'Angelo. Dana William Daly. Michelle Ann Dardino. Lindsay Ray DeSanto. Catherine Doherty. Jared Edward Dolan. Stephanie Lynn Ellis. Pune Fasihi. Stephen J. Finicaro. Michael Richard Forgione. Karen Janine Furlong. Jeanette Marie Gentile. Joshua Goddard. Kerry Lynn Halliday. Michael Richard Harris. Christopher Charles Hayter. Danielle Simone Hicks. Melissa Jenkins. Caitlin Margaret Jolly. Peter Calafates. Andrea Grady Keith. Brian D. Letzizer. Patrick King Hang Loom. Melissa Jean Lovetier. Allison Jamie McEachern. Joshua R. Manning. Andrew George McCauley. Meredith McGrail. Amanda Lee Mullen. John F. Murphy. Timothy Michael O'Connell. Jennifer Elizabeth O'Leary. Alex L. Papanikolaos. Shivani Patel. Edward Prokop Pawlowski. Dominic Anthony Pellegrino. Mark Gerard Pelletier. Michael A. Perry. Georgette V. Pierce. Hannah Elizabeth Potter. Tiana Danielle Puckering. Matthew Michael Reed. Andrew Joseph Richardson. Vanessa Jean Rogers. Krista Lee Roy. Jennifer Ann Scroy. Nicole Elizabeth Shedd. Michael Christopher Sherwood. Shane Francis Boris Slocum. James A. Spinos. Nathan M. Spry. Jennifer Joy Sullivan. Jason Toothaker. Susan Marie Tringali. Casey Ryan Vidal. Thomas Anthony Ventula. William J. Welsh. Danielle Marie Witcher. Justin Thomas Williamson. Crystal Marie Wood.
On behalf
of the class of 2003, we would now like to present our class gift, which is furniture for the courtyard. We would like to thank Mr. McIntosh, Mr. Sear, and Mr. Ruggieri for their help over the last 4 years, and especially this year. We would also like to thank Mrs. Staples, Mrs. Lucci, and Mrs. Chambers for putting up with us every morning during announcements. We would like to thank Dr. Papagiotis for 4 great years and wish her the best of luck in the future.
This is the last time I'm going to speak in front of you guys, ever. And finally, to the graduating class of 2003. It's been an honor being your president for the past year. And on behalf of the class officers, I would like to congratulate you and wish you the best of luck in the future. And remember, you can take us out of Northie, but you can't take Northie out of us. And now, as a class, will you join me with moving your tassels to the other side of your cap?